Hello, today's Pokemon review is on EEVEE and Wartortle. These are from the Pokemon Scale World line and they're made by Bandai. This set includes the EEVEE and Cameo being the Japanese word for Wartortle. Scale World is only sold in and around Japan, so the only way to get hold of these sets is to import them in from Japan itself. On the top of the box we do see the other figures in this set. This is box 3 of a 6 box set. Box 1 had the Kanto starters and box 2 had Pikachu and Charmeleon, both of which I have done in-depth reviews on, so go and check those videos out. Box 4 will have Mew and Ivysaur, box 5 will have Mewtwo, and box 6 will have Red. So if you don't want to miss out on in-depth reviews on any of those box sets, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you're alerted to when I upload a video. In Japan, these are known as candy toys, so they do come with a piece of gum in each box set. They also retail for 500 yen, so that equates to about $4.50. Now if I had to break that down, I'd say the EEVEE was about $1 and the Wartortle would be $3.50. So not that expensive when you do compare it to other equivalent Pokemon toy lines. Let's have a more detailed look at EEVEE with a 360-degree spin. This EEVEE is the smallest Pokemon Scale World figure that I've reviewed so far, and it stands at 15mm tall. Now there is some sort of extra plastic on its ear here, so it's a defect. Now it doesn't come off easily, but it looks like it's extra glue maybe. The rest of the mold of this figure is very nice. You can see they've got such great detailing in the fur areas and on the sculpt of the face. For such a small figure, that is really a lot of detail. You can also see the sculpt of the tail is very nicely done, and they've also sculpted the paw areas as well. The paintwork on this figure is immaculate as well. Other than underneath, you can see they didn't actually paint the paw areas, even though they sculpted them in. They didn't paint them pink. The rest of the paintwork is very nice though, and you can see they've also sculpted the hair on the top of EEVEE's head. So I thought I would try to reproduce the production photo of the EEVEE on the end of an index finger. That emphasizes just how small this figure is. Now it is really hard to do this, and it's a lot harder than I thought it'd be. You can see how much my finger is shaking here, and that isn't a lot of movement in my finger, that's just how small the figure is. And tiny little movements cause this much. Now if I can just focus in here, we can get this shot, then I can reproduce that production photo through the power of video editing. Now I think you can guess why I had to stop the frame here. Here's a comparison between the Scale World, Tommy and Wicked Cool Toy versions of EEVEE. The biggest difference between these three is obviously the size. The Tommy EEVEE is the biggest of the three, closely followed by the Wicked Cool Toys version, which is slightly smaller than the Tommy, and the tiniest figure is the Scale World version. The other big difference you can see between these figures is in the colour palettes used. The Tommy have gone for a darker brown colour used for EEVEE, whereas the Wicked Cool Toys and the Scale World are using a lighter brown, and I think the Scale World and Wicked Cool Toys colours are more accurate to what Eevee should look like, so I preferred their colour palettes. If I had to choose between the three, I would definitely go for the Scale World figure. I think it's just the cutest out of all three of them. So here's Eevee alongside the other smaller Scale World figures that I've reviewed so far, and honestly I didn't realise how small Eevee was, especially compared to a Pikachu. Eevee's almost half of its size. Let's have a detailed look at the Wartortle. First impressions, I really like this Wartortle figure. It is the second biggest Scale World figure that I've reviewed so far and stands at 50mm in height. The Charmeleon was 55mm, but honestly if you include the ears of this Wartortle figure, they're both virtually the same size. Now the sculpt of this figure is brilliant. As you can see, that big massive tail that they've got is very accurate sculpt to the Wartortle character, and the paintwork on this figure is very nice as well. You can see the colour palette that they've used on Wartortle is again accurate to the Wartortle character, and you can see how clean the paintwork is, especially around the face where they've coloured in the eyes perfectly, and they've even got the little blue circles for the blush areas. Overall the paint job is a very clean one all the way around the figure. They haven't skimped out underneath or on top. It's just very nicely painted all the way around. Here's a comparison of the Wartortle against the Tommy Wartortle. Unfortunately I do not have any other Wartortle figures to compare it against. So first thing you notice is the size difference between the two. The Scale World figure is obviously the bigger of the two. The other difference comes in the amount of detail used on the shell and the tail. You can see the Tommy actually has a greater amount of detail in those parts compared to the Scale World. But overall between the two, if I had to choose, I would still go for the Scale World Wartortle, and that's mainly because of the size and also the sculpt of the head. You can see the Scale World has a rounded head, whereas the Tommy version has more of a triangular shape. Now I think the rounded head is much more accurate to the Wartortle character, so I prefer the Scale World for that. Here are the Wartortles alongside their respective Squirtles, and again with the Tommy you can see there's very little difference between the size of the two, and with the Scale World you can obviously see the significant difference between the size of the two. Obviously that's the whole point of the Scale World figures, and I think the Wartortle figure looks so much more impressive when you can see the difference in those sizes. Now I'm just going to show you these figures alongside other Pokemon lines that I've been collecting. So first up we have the Wicked Cool Toys Gyarados. Next we have the Wicked Cool Toys Blastoise, Wicked Cool Toys Gengar, Takara Tommy's Mongol Pikachu, SH Figuarts Mewtwo, SH Figuarts Ash Ketchum, Wicked Cool Toys Ash Ketchum, Figma Lilie, and Tommy's Serena. Overall I would highly recommend you pick this set up. This is now my favourite Eevee figure, as well as definitely my favourite Wartortle figure. So for 500 yen I think it's definitely worth picking up. Even when you have to factor in the shipping costs you may incur, I still think it's worth picking up for any Pokemon collection. So here are all the Pokemon Scale World figures that I have reviewed so far, and they look so impressive next to each other. Next up I will be reviewing box 4 of this set, which includes Mew and Ivysaur. So if you don't want to miss out on an in-depth review of that box set, Hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you do get an alert every time I upload a new video. If you liked that video, hit the thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more Pokemon toy reviews, hit that subscribe button now. Now go back and watch all my other videos, and I will see you all next time. Bye.